Now, your NBC10 First Alert weather.
And hello there. It's 2 o'clock on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm NBC10 First Alert meteorologist Steve Sosna. You're looking at Cape May right now where the beaches are packed, but I'm concerned there's some storms just off to the west of you. In fact, our entire viewing area under this First Alert through this evening for powerful storms. And let's get to that radar picture now, because there you see Cape May. There you see the heavy thunderstorms crossing over Delaware Bay with cloud-to-ground lightning. That is dangerous. So if you know people that are sitting out there on the beach in Cape May, give them a text message. Tell them the storms are right off to the left of them, and they are coming on shore here pretty soon. We've had storms near Atlantic City, some other storms in South Jersey, then a break near Philadelphia, and another pocket of stronger storms off to the north and west. So let's give you the latest. These are not severe, but they are dangerous in terms of the lightning that are moving across Delaware Bay. Looks like the storm will miss just to the south of Cape May, but you will see some of the lightning out of this storm. More storms forming over Delaware Bay that will not miss Cape May and Cape May County. More storms up toward Atlantic County. So there's Atlantic City right here. Here's the Parkway just to the west of there. More storms crossing over with heavy downpours, some gusty winds and lightning strikes. But it's this batch near Reading right now, and you see that live lightning popping up on our screen. That is a nasty line of storms, and this storm has a history of producing some severe weather. More storms building down near the DC area that will cross over into Delaware. So it will be an active afternoon. We'll keep you updated as warnings are issued both on our NBC10 app, which is free for a download, and right here on NBC10. Have a safe afternoon.
But we have several severe thunderstorm warnings and just issued a tornado warning for southern Delaware. A possible tornado reported by radar near Milford moving to the east. It just came in like a minute ago. In the meantime, the severe thunderstorm warning for all of Philadelphia, lower Bucks County, parts of Delaware County, and Camden, Gloucester, and Burlington counties. Then we have another one in central Delaware. As you can see, this is the tornado warning that is in effect right from Milford eastward. It's a very small area and detected by radar, but the large area, you can see many, many counties affected by this, and the severe thunderstorm watch covers much of the area, along with a flash flood watch. So there's a lot going on. Now, in the meantime, right behind this line, everything quiets down. Yeah, there's some rain back there, but no more severe weather. Once this line passes and the rain tapers off, the threat of severe weather is over with. But look at how heavy this action is down in the central and southern Delaware. Compare that to the line coming through Philadelphia. There we go. You can see all the lightning strikes in Maryland, and that has gone right into Delaware. Look at all of that lightning and compare that to up in Philadelphia and in Bucks County. Now, we have a good bit of lightning that's coming into Trenton now in lower Bucks County, and you can see that heavy rain. I-95 is not a good place to be, and we're right in the middle of rush hour here. Some heavier rain still around Abington area, but they're behind that line. So the severe threat is gone. You don't see a lot of lightning in Philadelphia itself. There's plenty of heavy rain, of course, up toward Bensalem. You see the lightning area up toward Trenton. You see some more toward the shore. I mean, there are storms all over the place, as you can see. Now, it's all moving to the east at about 30 to 40 miles an hour, and going to Medford about 515 and Winslow 526. 531 in Plumstead. Now, farther to the south, there's Wilmington. You can see the worst of the storm has gone past Wilmington and just now getting past Philadelphia. So Newcastle County is pretty much out of danger. It's Kent County and Sussex County that's really getting hammered. Now, what happens is this is going over Delaware Bay. And once it crosses Delaware Bay, it is headed toward Cape May County. There's Milford, where we told you that was the report that there was some circulation in the radar down there moving to the east. You can see the intensity of the rainfall up through Thompsonville. Harrington is almost out of it, but as we take a bigger picture, this continues to move to the east. Look at all the lightning strikes down here. Compare that to what we see up in New Jersey. So this is the area 530 for parts of Kent County and Sussex County. We also have a new tornado warning up in the Trenton area that I'm told just in the last few seconds. So the northern edge of the line and the southern edge of the line are the most severe. Once again, you can kind of get an idea about the severity of some of these storms based on how much lightning we're seeing. And as I was telling you earlier, that one area concentration near the Trenton area, that continues, of course, to move to the east. Now we're looking at what's known as the velocity mode, where radar detects wind in addition to the rain. And you can see whether it's coming toward the radar or away from the radar. And then when you see the two together, the closer they are together, the more intense they are, the more the evidence of a circulation. This is the radar detecting this. So then we look for humans to see any kind of tornado. We're in a very populated area, and there's not that many trees around. There should be people seeing any kind of tornado that is developing. But that's a pretty strong signal that we're seeing on the velocity mode. This is the other area down in Delaware. There's Milford, where we first saw that report. And heading over Delaware Bay, I certainly hope there isn't anybody doing anything on Delaware Bay right now. And if anybody's at the Jersey Shore, you want to get off the beaches because there's a lot of lightning headed that way. And if you know anybody that's out on the water, out in the ocean, they don't want to be there either. So the tornado warning in southern Delaware until 5:30 this afternoon. You can see the core of a really intense storm over Milford now. But we also have the other end of the line up around Trenton with the circulation on the radar. And that one, like I said, looked fairly impressive to me. We don't normally see really impressive radar signatures in this part of the country. It makes it a little bit more difficult to pinpoint the tornadoes that might occur, and it causes a whole lot of false alarms. But if you do get a circulation like that, that impressive, that really makes you, get your attention. So here we are again with the velocity, looking at the winds toward the radar and away from the radar. The nearest radar to this is in Dover, at Dover Air Force Base. So if you're in that tornado warning area, you want to go to a central room or a basement. You want to stay away from windows, any high-rise buildings, or if you don't have a basement, you want to go to the lowest floor. And very often, the safest place is actually in a bathroom because you've got all the structures there in the wall. And I've seen pictures of houses, they're the only thing left is the bathroom and the bathroom walls. And people have survived really intense tornadoes over the years. In a bathroom, sometimes they'll take a mattress, lay in the tub, and put the mattress over their heads. We don't generally get that kind of an intensity of tornadoes around here, but if you're on an upper floor and near windows, people can be injured with even the most minimal type of tornado. And it doesn't even have to be a tornado to cause that kind of damage, and if you're near a window, cause some injuries. Once again, this line of storms is pretty impressive up around the Trenton area, that tornado warning till 5:30, and behind it, of course, things quiet down. You can tell by the lightning strikes. Now, there were a lot more of those even 15 minutes ago. This is the area of the tornado warning itself. It's just to the south of the city of Trenton. and the cells are generally moving to the east. So Trenton's getting hit hard by the thunderstorm, and you can get potentially damaging winds even without a tornado. And in this case, there also is the circulation. You get severe thunderstorm warnings lots of times with straight line winds. The wind comes down from the storm, pushes out, and you can get 70, 80 mile an hour winds without the circulation. So severe thunderstorm warnings need to be taken seriously too. That tornado warning continues until 5:30. The first indication was near Milford, and this is continuing to move to the east. Now, over the bay, you would tend to see a storm like that weakening because the heat of the land is helping to fuel that storm. And if you go over Delaware Bay, you're losing some of that fuel. So it's rare that a tornado over Delaware will cross Delaware Bay and go toward, let's say, Cape May County. What you want to be aware of is that's an intense thunderstorm. That is not going to fall apart. That is going across the bay and hit Cape May County. And even if you don't get a tornado, you're going to get a pretty strong thunderstorm. There's going to be lightning and downpours and gusty winds, even if there is no tornado out of this. Can we go back up toward Trenton and see what we have going up there? So we have two ends of this line that is coming through. On the wider view, you can see it's coming right through Philadelphia right now. But in Philadelphia, which is in the middle of it, that's where there's the least amount of lightning, which helps. Now the lightning is getting dispersed a little bit. It's not as concentrated as it was. This is the tornado warning until 5:30. And so we have like another 15 minutes or so. Now, what the National Weather Service would be doing is getting some reports. We're in populated areas. If there's something going on, if there's damage, it will be reported to the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service will then put out that information so that we can relay that to you. Sometimes it takes a few minutes, but it doesn't take that long, especially in these populated areas. It may be hard to see the tornado itself, the funnel coming down if there's a lot of rain around, but you can see the damage, and that damage would be called in. Once again, you can see this, the wind blowing toward the radar, away from the radar, and a bit of a circulation here right near Bordentown. You can see Trenton up here. That appears to be north of where that circulation would be. When you see these two colors together, it's called a couplet. And the closer they are together, the more likely it is to actually be a tornado. And what happens here, and is difficult to sometimes detect, is the radar beam is going up, and are you seeing this circulation just in the cloud, or has it touched down? That's why they have to put out the warning because of that circulation, and then they look for confirmation. Brittney?
Yes, and Glenn, I've been driving the graphics for you, but we just want to paint a broad picture here. So we're going to switch you back over to what is happening. So you have two different things going on. We have two different tornado warnings. One is near the Trenton area, like you mentioned. One is just to the north of Lewis. So they are both staying in effect until around 5:30. So the bottom line with this, if you live anywhere near these two locations, is you want to try and get to the lowest level in your house, get away from all the windows, and that is the bottom line with a tornado warning. Now it is time to act. When we have a watch, we're watching conditions, but now that we have this warning, it is time for you, if you live anywhere in this box here, anywhere near Milford, Slaughter Beach, you want to definitely be acting appropriately right now. You want to get away from your windows. Again, if you do not have a basement, you want to head into a windowless room. Maybe it's your bathroom, maybe it's your bathtub. This is going to stay in effect until 5:30. The reason why the National Weather Service issued this is on a cell that is moving near Big Stone Beach, or 15 miles north of Georgetown. So it's moving east at about 45 miles per hour. The possibility with this is going to be flying debris. It's wind gusts, it's rotating wind speed. So you definitely want to be very careful if you live in these particular areas here. We are going to switch you over to what we were talking about, which is the velocity mode, just to see if we can see any coupling here with this storm, to see if we can identify any rotation. So this is one part of the system that we're watching, and then as we go up towards the Trenton area, we also want to show you the other potential for the next tornado. So this is just to the south of Trenton. All the areas highlighted here include Levittown, Bordentown, North Crosswicks, Chesterfield. If you are hearing your name, your neighborhood, you want to be careful. Mansfield Square. So again, this is a tornado warning that is going to be in effect until, this one particularly, until 5:30. So the cell that we're watching with this one was located just over Tullytown near Trenton, moving east at 25 miles per hour. So again, you want to be taking cover here. Let's go ahead and turn off velocity mode. Sometimes it's easier to see what's happening out of velocity mode and really track where some of these storms are going. So we're going to back this up to the last 15 minutes so you can watch the direction.
Right. I was talking about the National Weather Service getting reports, and they did get a report of some damage in Kent County, Delaware, near Farmington. Thunderstorm wind damage at 452, trees down and vehicles blown off the road along US 13 around Tower Hill Road. So we get these reports pretty quickly because the Weather Service obviously wants to share them with everybody and through the media. We have all of the tornado warnings, all the severe thunderstorm warnings, and we would be getting a whole lot of storm reports if there was a lot of damage in populated areas. Doesn't take that long in this time to be able to get that kind of information. But,
so repeat where the location was.
All right, that was 2 miles north of Farmington in Kent County, Delaware. The emergency manager reported this thunderstorm wind damage with trees down and vehicles blown off the road along US Route 13 around Tower Hill Road. So that whether it's a tornado or not, that is some serious damage, and it takes a pretty strong wind to do that. Let's say at least 70 miles an hour, whether it's a circulation or not. That storm has caused the damage in Kent County. Now, that damage report itself, plus what you see on the radar, would lead the Weather Service to continue that tornado warning, and they have also for the one to the north. The severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Bordentown, like you were just showing on the radar, near Trenton, moving east at 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, so we're tracking both of those. It's hard to show both areas at the same time, but the bottom line is that the best way we can keep you safe at this time is if you hear your neighborhood called, if you were within this tornado warning, you want to make sure that you are taking cover, that you are going to your basement or an interior room, the lowest level in a sturdy building. You want to avoid windows. If you're outdoors or in a mobile home, you want to move to shelter. You want to try and protect yourself from any flying debris. And this particular one that we are watching here that's just outside of Trenton, it's mainly to the south of Trenton here. this thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado. So this was located over Bordentown. So we'll just show you a little closer. There's Bordentown. It's just to the south of Trenton. So if you live anywhere in this area, we also want to track this for you. It's moving east at 25 miles per hour. So we start to do the math on this, and we show you any of these neighborhoods that are to the east of Bordentown have the capability of, even if it's not specifically the rotation from the tornado, there's damaging wind speeds that are heading your way. So we're talking neighborhoods like Yardville, North Crosswicks, Chesterfield, Mansfield Square. You are all under this tornado warning. When we have a tornado warning, that means, again, you need to be taking cover right now. So I do want to show you, should we go to maybe your computer? Let's switch over to our Max 2 so we can show you the velocity on the Bordentown portion. There you go. We're looking for the coupling. We're looking for the red and the green to be coupled next to each other because that shows us that there is rotation. So right now we're not seeing that. We also want to, so there Glenn is analyzing the area there near Bordentown. So that's one tornado warning that we do have. And then we just have the reminder for you to just know if you are within this area, you want to make sure you are, again, taking cover. If you're in a high-rise building, you want to go to a bathroom. You want to stay away from windows. You want to cover your head. So it's two different tornado warnings that we are dealing with in the region right now. One is closer to Dover, and one is closer to Bordentown, just to the south of Trenton. So we are definitely monitoring the National Weather Service. We have a live chat with them. We're seeing if they're putting anything out that is new. It looks like
they just canceled it.
It just was canceled. For the Delaware tornado warning was just canceled, but at this time it does look like we still have potentially our other tornado warning that's still in effect. That one might be canceled as well. It was hard for us to see any rotation, but we still are getting reports that damaging wind speeds are a possibility. So we still want everyone to make sure they're staying safe in that area because there are severe storms that are rolling through. Now, if we try to take a closer look,
let's show you this southern storm here. Even though they canceled a tornado warning, this is just a tremendous thunderstorm, and it covers a very large area. We'd call it kind of a cluster of storms that is moving from Delaware across Delaware Bay and into South Jersey. So Cape May County, really the entire portion of Cape May County, is going to be getting hit with a very strong thunderstorm with a lot of lightning and probably some strong gusty winds. Whether it's a tornado or not, anybody who's in Cape May County should really be indoors. So if you know somebody who's outside, try to get them to come inside. You don't want to be outside when this storm comes across Delaware Bay, and you can see just how intense it is across the bay itself.
We still want to also go back to the active tornado warning because the National Weather Service has not canceled that just yet. So it's 5:22 right now. This tornado warning is going to stay in effect. It still looks like until 5:30. So the cell that we were watching is just right outside of Bordentown, and it's tracking to the east. So we still, are in the middle of just looking at this. We'll show you Bordentown. We'll switch you over and see if there's any coupling here on the cell. I don't see any at this time. So let's take you back to just your basic sweeping radar, and we'll show you the storm cell that continues to move through this area. We'll put it in motion for you so you can kind of see how it's tracking to the east. Again, it is moving at 25 miles per hour. And if we turn on some of even our storm reports here, we'll see if we have any reports right next to this area that is giving us indications that we're seeing, strong wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. This one's just outside of Levittown, down trees and limbs. So that's another thing that we are watching for you, is the fact that even if it's not specifically a tornado, we are still seeing these storm cells strong enough, capable of bringing down the power lines and also down trees. So we do want to also go back to what you were referring to Glenn, closer to Cape May, where there are some nasty storms moving into that region as well. So this is just an incredibly active situation. We want to make sure everyone is
they just
staying
issued
safe.
a severe thunderstorm warning for Cape May County.
Okay, so that's yet another area that's been a concern for us, and that's going to stay. Let's see if we can query that. Let's go back to maybe your computer. We'll show you where Cape May is coming in, where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings. We also want to show you this live camera. Right now, this is down towards Cape May again. This is what is approaching the neighborhoods of Cape May. So you want to
see
probably
that orange area?
Yes.
That is the severe thunderstorm warning. I'm flashing it on and off so you can see it clearly. And it's pretty much covering the entire portion of Cape May County. Now, at the moment, there's nothing falling. Okay, you got a warning and it's not even raining. But you got a warning because that storm cluster is moving across the bay and is about to come in and hit. And it's going to affect the entire county. If it was a tornado itself, it would be covering a very small area and last for a very short period of time. In this part of the country, the average tornado lasts less than 10 minutes. So with this thing spread out the way it is and the tornado warning being canceled, you still have to be concerned about all of the rain that is coming out of this thing. It's not moving that fast and it's very large. So it can produce some torrential rain and some localized flooding. It doesn't take that much rain to flood at the shore. But also there's a good bit of lightning. And so that potentially is a threat as well in this part of the country. You can see those lightning flashes going off.
Yeah, so we are still under the tornado warning. If you are closer to Bordentown, this is just to the south of Trenton here, so that's specifically Burlington and Mercer counties that are under this tornado warning, I should say, which will stay in effect.
Expired.
Did it just expire?
For Burlington and Mercer County.
Okay.
It just expired. So here's go to my computer again, and I'm centered over Philly, and all that's left over Philly is some light rain. All of the activity is going into New Jersey. And you can also see around the Trenton area, compare this to what we saw 15 minutes ago, where there was so many lightning strikes and the storm was concentrated in a smaller area. It's kind of spread out now. It's not organized, but there's still tremendous rains with this particular storm as it moves through Mercer County, and it's going into parts of Burlington County and eventually out toward.
And let's just go back to our camera down towards Cape May, because again, we are following a National Weather Service chat, and one of the weather spotters is potentially saying there may have been a water spout located west of Town Bank in Cape May County. So that's another situation that is now developing. So again, anyone that's in Cape May, although there's technically not a tornado warning, there is a severe thunderstorm warning. The bottom line with these warnings is you want to be inside. You want to be indoors. You want to take shelter. This is a very active situation for many parts of our region. Also, just to our directors, maybe we can show the radar and then also the camera in Cape May so we can have both going at the same time. So we don't have to choose between checking out what we are actually seeing versus the camera, so we can verify what's happening in Cape May. Let's check out the severe thunderstorm warning details on that for us as well, and we'll show you.
All right, the edge of that storm has now hit the edge of the western edge of Cape May County, right near Cape May Point, North Cape May, Phyllis, Reed's Beach. Just the beginning of that storm. You'll be able to see it. You can obviously see it coming in the western sky. So if you're near the coast or in Cape May itself, where there's no rain falling, that is a large cluster of storms that is moving to the east.
One thing that I was just showing too, Glenn, is that we're able to track the hail that's inside of these storms. So if we go back to my computer, you can see, I'll put it in motion for you, that not only are these storms producing strong wind speeds, but some of these, and this is just right off the coast here near Morris River, we're seeing hail about 1 inch in diameter. So this is also starting to track its way closer to Cape May. So it's, again, not just the strong wind speeds you're going to be seeing if you specifically live in Cape May, but you could be hearing hail outside of your window as well. The good thing, at least, it looks like some of the larger hailstones are closer to the north or staying above the water versus, so yeah, well, now it's still pretty big, about 1 inch in diameter. So again, these are extremely powerful storms producing everything that we warn everyone about, and that includes hail, that includes those wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, and the potential for rotating winds as well.
And the Weather Service just issued a minute ago another severe thunderstorm warning for Atlantic, Burlington, Camden, Cape May, Cumberland, Gloucester, Mercer, Middlesex, Monmouth, Ocean, and Salem in New Jersey till 7 p.m. That is a lot of counties in one single warning. So this complex is covering such a huge area. If I turn off the radar itself, you can see the lightning strikes back on my computer.
Well, actually, I think, you know, we also want to track where these things are going. So,
and look at,
let's put a tracker on it and
orange
show you.
Is the severe thunderstorm warnings.
Yes. So if we just go back and we show you that, if you're looking for the timing on this cell is right now, it is.
Go back to Brittany's computer.
Yeah, if you want to go back to my computer, this cell right now is to the west of Cape May. So if we look at the timing on that, closer to 5:48, it'll be right over Cape May, 5:50, closer to Cape May Courthouse, 5:56 for Wildwood. So again, you're not seeing it just yet in your specific neighborhood, but as we are looking, we are tracking this heading to the east right now, and this severe thunderstorm warning for these areas is expected to stay in effect here for at least another hour and a half. This is going to stay in effect right now, the severe thunderstorm warning, until 7 p.m. tonight. So this is, again, an incredibly active situation. And in fact, we're seeing reports that we could see wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour with some of these storms. When we're talking about wind gusts, 70 miles per hour, I mean, hurricane force winds start right around 74. So this is a very active, dangerous situation. The impacts include tree damage, which could fall on some of our mobile homes there, your roofs, your power lines. We could be seeing power outages. You do not want to be out and about in this. You want to be inside. You want to be taking shelter, especially when we have these severe thunderstorm warnings and we have the intensity that we're watching right now, where it's just so much activity and it's a large area. It's not just isolated. We're talking widespread thunderstorms that are producing hail at this time. We have the storm reports of over 60 mile per hour wind gusts as well. So we do know that the tornado warning that was near the Trenton area has now expired. However, we still have these severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for all of these different thunderstorm cells that are moving through. I'll just start listing some of the neighborhoods. Trenton, you're seeing heavy downpours. Upper Freehold, Chesterfield, Browns Mills. If you're closer to Tabernacle or Woodland, Chemung, you will be up next. You're seeing light rain, but again, this next batch is going to be heading your way. Everything is tracking to the east here, and these are moving quickly. These are moving at around 45 miles per hour. So we widen out the picture here. We'll take you back down towards Cape May. That's where we're seeing a lot of activity. If you're closer to Stone Harbor, Villas, there we go. Now we have the combination of the camera where you can see the intensity of the downpours here, Glenn. Do you see this? And we have the thunderstorms that are firing up just to the north of Villas.
That's a Cape May camera.
That is our Cape May camera.
That we show all the time with the beautiful beach and all the people enjoying it. And we certainly hope nobody is outside there, because when you can't see a block, you know it's coming down hard. We do have some good news for you. The Weather Service has canceled the severe thunderstorm watch for Philadelphia, Montgomery County, Delaware County, Chester County, Bucks County, Newcastle County, all out of the severe thunderstorm watch. That line that came through is not coming back, and now behind that line, it's steadier rain, but it's not capable of producing the kind of severe weather that that line that came through did. The atmosphere stabilizes behind those lines.
And right now, this is the hail size and hail track that we're looking at for you. So you can see there's going to be a really strong thunderstorm that is approaching Cape May at this time. If you're closer to Morris River, you are seeing really strong thunderstorms. And what this is basically we're showing you the hail track and the hail size. So where you see this blue, that means these are thunderstorms that are producing hail. And then we can also take a look at how large the hail is that's coming down. And when we start to see the green, that is hail size right around an inch or so. So these really indicate how powerful these storms are that are moving into our region. We also have the ability to turn on some of the storm reports to also show you what we've seen in terms of any storm reports in terms of wind gusts and down power lines. So let's see if we can show you any of those that have now come in here. We'll send it. Let me regroup on the storm reports, Glenn. We'll send it over to your computer, which is actually tracking the intensity of the thunderstorms from Cape May all the way up to Trenton. It's a powerful line that continues to move through our region.
Yeah, and it's not a typical kind of line that is a straight line, and it's not really one of those curved. It's like there's a couple of pieces to it. So here's your one line.
And also, I said I was regrouping to show you some of the storm reports. Let's go ahead and switch back to my computer. I do want to show you again in the city of Farmington, which we were talking about, the potential for where the tornado may have come down. We are getting those reports of the trees down and vehicles blown off the road, and that's right by Route 13 near Tower Hill Road. So let's get a little closer. And this is the area that is of the concern for us, or that was with that really strong cell that moved through. So now we're starting to get these storm reports that are coming in. This is what we're seeing here, the time of that.
Britt, we just have another tornado warning issued for Mercer, Monmouth, and Ocean counties in New Jersey until 6 o'clock. At 5:35, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Imlaystown, or 12 miles east of Trenton, moving east at 25 miles an hour. So this is now well east of Trenton and east of the most populated part of that portion of New Jersey. It's a difficult thing for the Weather Service to see the circulation in the clouds and try to get reports from the public and from emergency managers and from the police. They have loads of contacts all over the area. And so the warning goes out because of the possibility that that circulation in the cloud could come down to the ground.
Yeah, so we have that up here, the tornado warning that is, like you mentioned, outside of Trenton, outside of Bordentown. This is an entirely different warning here, but let's just put it in motion. It could be part of the same system that came right out of Bordentown that's continuing to basically track to the east, like we mentioned, moving right around 25 miles per hour.
That is a tight couplet.
Yeah, now we're starting to see. Before we were looking and tracking, we weren't really seeing the couplet of the green and the red coupled together, which means the winds are moving in different directions. That's why you get the different color table there, and that indicates typically rotation. You are also seeing to the left of your screen a live camera of Cape May, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. We have a potential report of a water spout in the Cape May area as well. There is no technical tornado warning, but it's still a severe breaking weather situation. If you're in Cape May County, you want to try and get off the roads. We're seeing these heavy downpours. We're seeing these strong wind gusts. And we are also just outside of the Trenton area tracking.
Yeah, Britt, you see that yellow line that's right across the middle of that tornado warning is 195. itself that goes east-west. It is rush hour. I'm sure there's a lot of traffic there. And if you go over to my computer, it'll show you the tornado warning area itself. And you can see that 195 is right in the middle of it. And that Allentown is the Allentown, New Jersey, not Allentown, Pennsylvania. And Upper Freehold, Wrightsville, Red Valley, Millstone, Holmeson, Maryland, Leesville are all under that tornado warning. And obviously from the look of that radar, that is what triggered the tornado warning. When you see a combination like that of those two colors so bright and right next to each other, that's a really strong indication of a circulation.
Yeah, if you take my computer, this is what Glenn is referring to here. When we switch over from our regular radar, which shows us rainfall, it shows us the rainfall intensity. And then when we switch over and you start to see red against the green, then we're doing a velocity tracker. And when you see the green, that is rain moving or wind speeds moving towards the radar. When you see the red, it's moving away. And when we start to see them coming together, what we call a coupling, then we know that we are potentially dealing with rotating wind speeds. So that's what we look for, is a good coupling there. And we're starting to see it. This is just like you mentioned, I-95 just to the north.
195.
195, I should say.
And also, Britt, we got the first storm report from a trained spotter reporting a tornado in Milford, Sussex County, Delaware at 5:02. With significant tree damage, with some trees into houses. That is the report. Now that is nearly 40 minutes ago. And that is 3 miles east-northeast of Milford in Sussex County, Delaware. This is the southern portion of Delaware, the southernmost county, long way away from Wilmington. The trained spotter reporting this. So when the Weather Service hears that, they take that seriously, and that it's not just damage. This spotter must have seen some sort of funnel along with the damage. So whether you see it touching down and seeing the debris itself, sometimes it's blocked by houses or trees, but if you're seeing the funnel and then you go over to that area and you see the damage, that's a pretty good indication that there actually was a tornado there. And when you have trained spotters, you're teaching them stuff like that. I used to train spotters for the Weather Service down south, and they're very valuable assets to the Weather Service because, you know, we just can't be everywhere. You don't have cameras everywhere. And these tornadoes are relatively tiny. And
we still want to focus on the tornado warning that is still in effect until 6 p.m. And again, this is just outside of Trenton. And when we back up the radar, we like to try to break down where this cell is moving. And this is the same cell that moved just to the south of Trenton. That's when we saw that first tornado warning in effect. But do you see how the cell moves to the east here? And now the concern is closer to 195. Let's get a closer look here. So we're looking for the coupling, but you can see, you see where that bright green is, that kind of couples against the red there. That's what we're trying to follow to see where potentially we're dealing with rotation. And that could be near Wrightsville, near Upper Freehold, just outside of Allentown, New Jersey. So we are just in the middle of this just active situation. Our biggest concern at this time is still going to be
and if Brittney and Glenn, if people are watching and they're in these areas, it always bears repeating in terms of the safety steps that people should be taking right now as these storms are moving over them.
Yes, and you just mentioned that. We have a graphic that we want to show you, and that is, let's go step by step. So turn up the volume on your TV if you live in these areas that are under a tornado warning. You want to just get away from the TV. You want to go to a central room or basement. Hopefully you have a TV in your basement. That would be ideal so you could still keep in touch with what we're talking about, but you could be away from your living room. If you're in a high-rise building, you want to go to a bathroom. You want to stay away from windows. You want to make sure you are covering your head. If you are in the counties and in the specific locations that are under this tornado warning, which includes Mercer, Mammoth, and also Ocean counties until 6 p.m. tonight. So this is, again, an active situation that we're looking at. Those are the steps that you need to remember to take. If you don't have a basement, go to a bathroom. Same thing for high-rise buildings. We'll switch you back over to Glenn's computer. He is also tracking just the intensity of the storms that are still over parts of Cape May. Thunderstorms moving in. We have strong thunderstorms over a lot of South Jersey here. And that's stretching even up to parts of Trenton, where we still have that tornado warning that is in effect.
So we can also count the number of lightning strikes in any time period that we would like. So let's say in the last 15 minutes, we have nearly 100 strikes. So what I would do is go wait 15 minutes and do the same thing and see how that number has changed. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? Has it gone up a lot? That gives us an idea of the evolution of these storms. Are they weakening or strengthening? Which, of course, is extremely important. There we go. Lots of lightning in the northern part of Cape May County near Dennis. Look at that. That's a lot of lightning strikes in a fairly small, concentrated area. So that is one intense part of the storm. Wildwood is getting heavy rain, but there's not a lot of lightning in that area. Farther to the south, there is. Let's see. We're going toward the Delaware beaches there. There's Lewis to the left. There's so much rain and lightning, you can sometimes lose the land if you didn't have these labels. You can see Cape May and Wildwood, Cape May Courthouse, Avalon. I still have the lightning on. So if there was a big cluster of lightning, I'd be seeing it. You see it up in the northern portion of Cape May County, where the lightning is the most concentrated.
And just a reminder, we still have the tornado warning that is in effect just outside of Trenton. So just an incredibly active situation.
Part of the storm. There's the 195. Remember, 195 was actually right in the middle of that tornado warning track. Let me take the radar off and show you that. There's that tornado warning area, and then we put the radar on top, and you can see that the strongest part of the storm is north of 195 now. We are seeing a clearing area, as you can see, coming in from the southwest, right there. Sometimes that is an indication that there is some kind of circulation in this area.
And if we just switch you back over to Weather Computer 1, we'll just show you again, we are still currently under an active tornado warning until 6 o'clock. So there's a cell you can see where the heaviest rain is. And it's moving just to the east of Upper Freehold, but we want to go over everyone that is actually inside of this tornado warning. So where you see, let's just pause the radar here. Where you see this red box, if you're closer to Upper Freehold, Sharon, Ely, Maryland, Vista Center, Jackson, you are under this tornado warning. And when we have this tornado warning, the latest update is at 4:53 from the National Weather Service. The severe thunderstorm capable of producing the tornado was over Clarksburg
5:43.
at 5:43. Thank you. And this entire cell continues to move to the east at about 25 miles per hour. So this is going to be a concern for us for at least the next 12 minutes as this cell continues to track here to the east. So once we see a tornado warning, that basically means, you need to be making moves right now, which includes getting away from any windows. You want to be in the lowest level of your house. If you don't have a TV in the basement, you want to turn up the TV before you go down so you can still listen to us, so we can explain and kind of walk you through how to stay safe around these tornado warnings that we are now dealing with that have intense lightning associated with them, intense wind speeds, potentially rotating winds, and that's our main concern. But even if we widen out the picture, we can show you that it's not just outside of the Trenton area that's dealing with severe weather. It's everywhere down the shore here, especially down towards Cape May. Atlantic City, not quite seeing anything, but if you're closer to Corbin City, just outside of Morris River, Avalon, Villas, Wildwood now getting in on the action here. Same thing near Cape May. It's almost even hard to make out, like you said, where the land is, where the water is, because the radar is just so incredibly active with some of these storms. Can we pull back up that Cape May pictures just so we can
Actually, Britt, we're going to take some video. A viewer, I believe, sent in to us, not in Cape May, but it is from Tullytown in Bucks County. They've been dealing, obviously, with some of the severe weather that's been moving through. Thank you to A Philly Fan 11 for sending this in to us. If you're going to send us weather video, of course, we appreciate it.
Now, here's, Jim, here's an example of the kind of problems that we run into in this part of the country.
Yep.
The trees are blocking the lower part of that storm. So we would get a much better picture of what was actually going on there if we could somehow just erase those trees.
Right. You're concerned about what those clouds look like, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes a rain shaft looks like a tornado or a funnel from the distance. So we would need something probably a little closer to be able to tell. It does look like there is some sort of funnel, or maybe even two of them.
Again, this is Bucks County, right? This is
right, that was earlier, but that's the storm that ended up going into the Trenton area and caused the warning.
And when you say if we could go closer, obviously we want our viewers to send us video, but we want them to do it safely.
Yeah, you don't want to get in a car and be chasing these things. That's what professionals do. And they do it in armored vehicles these days. They're like tanks. So you can't take your car in there. And I tell you, if you do try to go in to a big storm, the hail can cause damage. Of course, the wind can cause the damage, and your insurance company is not going to be very happy and willing to pay for damage from some sort of a reckless driver. So you got a lot of reasons not to get in a car and try to chase these things.
Best place to be is indoors in an inside room or down in your basement, as Brittany was pointing out, away from windows. And tuned in to us and or to a battery-operated radio if you have to in your basement in case you lose power.
Right. Now, this is a relatively populated area, right, in Bucks County. And what you'd be looking for are reports of damage in that particular area. And that could help verify. Oh, okay. There we go.
Really
There's
getting a
the
look at how
picture.
dark those clouds are. How fast
Right.
are these storms moving?
So this in particular was earlier from the earlier tornado warning that we're just starting to get
I was
the video
moving
in.
45 miles an hour. Now, you would be looking for reports. There are houses, there are trees, there are lots of things to be knocked over by even the most minimal, smallest type of tornado. And so if there is damage, then the Weather Service will be going out there tomorrow to inspect the damage to see if it was straight line damage or from a tornado itself. But you see, it's not that clear from this far away when you're blocked by trees But if you're in a populated area, you see that, and we don't have significant damage, you would have to say that was not a tornado. If we go in and we do see significant damage, all right, now we're suspicious. Then we go in and we look at that damage more closely to see if it is not all in a straight line. So if the trees are all blown down in the same direction, even though there's lots of damage, we might conclude that that was a straight line wind.
Which we know can be very damaging.
Sure.
Almost just as damaging.
That's right. It's just basically a technicality, whether it was a tornado or a straight line severe thunderstorm wind. And you can see that line right now is trying to get even better organized. It's certainly not a straight line, but it's at least recognizable on the radar now.
I'm going to drive for you a little bit, Glenn. So we're just going to show you this line of thunderstorms here that's still stretching from Trenton, now outside of Philadelphia, down towards Millville here, even down towards Cape May. So this is...
And that tornado warning for Monmouth and Ocean has now expired.
So this will start to disappear here shortly. So that finally has expired, but you can still see how active this is.
Yeah.
From just outside of Trenton down towards Millville here, down just about to head into Atlantic City. So we were showing video before of Atlantic City. They're about to get pounded by these severe storms as well. And this stretches down towards Cape May. And then take a look at, outside down towards Maryland here. So this has been an incredibly active situation. We still want to make sure, although we don't have any active tornado warnings, that people are still taking this seriously, because even with the severe thunderstorm warning, we're seeing wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. And we know that some of these storms have hail embedded in them as well.
Yeah, but if you're in the Philadelphia area, the I-95 corridor right now, any kind of potential danger is over, because this line represents the last of the danger. So you could go about your activities. There might be some localized flooding, some roads flooded out or parts of roads flooded out. Sometimes we get so fixated on the wind from the storms that we don't pay as much attention to the water. And the water is very often what gets people in a lot more trouble than what the wind does. You can see the core of this storm right over Wildwood right now. Another piece of it up at Sea Isle City. Once again, we're looking at the lightning strikes, and again, it's much more concentrated in the northern portion of the county there, just near Woodbine. All right, you're making me dizzy now.
All right, I don't want to make you dizzy. I'm just trying to show you those thunderstorms.
Up there. All right. Violent. There's Philadelphia. Okay.
Yeah.
Always keep Philadelphia in there so I know where I am. Okay, there's Trenton. Remember, we had the tornado warning in effect for Trenton a half hour ago. That storm moved to the east. There was a tornado warning put out for that particular storm. That tornado warning expired. And when it expires and they don't put out a new one, that means they have not gotten confirmation or any kind of strong suspicion that there is a tornado there. So that's good news. When tornado warnings expire and they don't issue a new one, that's good news. This is the area of the reported tornado. Significant tree damage. Again, that was at 5:02. We're now talking about almost an hour later. So in this part of the country, the average tornado, if you do get it, lasts less than 10 minutes. We're talking about nearly an hour. There's Farmington, trees down, vehicles blown off the road. This is before 5 o'clock. So as we were telling you, the worst of this was in Maryland. They had damage in a lot of places in Maryland. And so we've been telling you all day that Delaware and South Jersey were the areas most vulnerable for this potential severe weather. Everybody's going to get rain. Everybody's going to get hit with this thing. But some places get hit harder. It's just a little bit of difference in the ingredients. And it was just a little bit more favorable down to the south. The severe thunderstorm warning continues until 7 o'clock for this area in orange. There's Allentown, it looks like. And the storm getting into Atlantic City, some of that, there's Atlantic City right now, the Tropicana. You see, there are people out there. So they don't care if they're getting rained on. That is quite a storm that is coming in there. And what might be pleasant for a few minutes can quickly become unpleasant. Look at all the people on the boardwalk, just casually walking. Let's see if we see anybody with an umbrella. We probably don't. So it may not have started raining yet right on the boardwalk there. There's Atlantic City. Okay, so it hasn't. But they're seeing this pretty powerful storm not that far away. Ocean City is not that far from Atlantic City.
So those people who are strolling on the boardwalk should
go
inside and take safety because we see what's headed their way.
Yeah, you can't say they're going to get surprised. Now, it's all moving to the east. So where's Atlantic City? It's right to the east of this storm. There's a lot of lightning there, too. So if you know anybody who happens to be walking on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, or I don't think anybody would be on the boardwalk in Ocean City right now under these conditions. It's probably pouring rain there. Yeah, it's only 9 miles away. But the storm is moving to the east, and so it's just a question of just how bad the storm is going to be in Atlantic City. You're going to get drenched. There's going to be lightning strikes, and then it'll be over. You can see it's over in parts of the area, and the weather conditions are improving. This is a front that's coming through. Originally, we're a little concerned about it stalling just to our south and having a negative impact on, let's say, Friday and Saturday. The weather will not be nearly like this tomorrow. We do have showers in the forecast. We have showers in the forecast for Saturday. Not a real pleasant day on Saturday. But it's not going to be like this. We're not talking about a severe weather threat. Either of those days, it's going to be cooler. It's only going to be in the 70s, especially on Saturday. Sunday looks a little better with at least some sunshine, and then Monday looks pretty nice. So if you want to get some perverse pleasure and continue to watch these cameras and watch the people all of a sudden get poured on and scattered in every direction, it's time to go into the casino right there.
We're dangerous conditions.
Yes. And then if we could just zoom out, maybe. I know we have a close shot of everyone there on the boardwalk, but if we could just zoom out and see the sky again, because we're really just watching, thank you, or we're really watching the approach of the system. You can see.
Right, we're looking south toward Ocean City where the core of that storm is.
Yeah, so now is the time. Even, Atlantic City is under a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you know anyone that's hanging out down the shore, specifically Atlantic City, it's time to call them. Hopefully they have the app, and they need to be heading inside, because with these severe thunderstorm warnings, the concern is wind gusts upwards of about 60 miles per hour. And one thing that we have also been doing here throughout the day occasionally is showing you the hail track and the hail size. So if we do that right now, the good thing is it looks like, some of the latest storms aren't quite, yes, exactly. Yeah. They're not quite as powerful, but the idea is that we still have the wind gusts upwards of about 50, 60 miles per hour. But yes, like you mentioned, Glenn, when we turn on the hail tracks and the size here, you can see where the hail is heading.
Why don't you take that radar and put it in motion and show us, let's say, the last hour, so we can get an idea of what is coming.
So this is the last hour here. Let me make sure lightning is turned on.
It doesn't take a meteorologist to tell you that Atlantic City's about to get hammered by a strong thunderstorm. A lot of people obviously have cell phones. There are lots of sites where you can, and apps where you can get radars on them, including the NBC10 site. I take a look at the radar along with the hourly forecast every morning on the train as I'm coming in. And you can keep track of these storms too on the radar in your phone. And we're hoping that there are people in Atlantic City doing the same thing because they have a severe thunderstorm warning. So on the phone, they would get that warning, and then they could see it on the radar. Then if you look up, you see it in the sky. I see now people are starting to move, and the camera looks like it may be getting a little bit wet. There's nobody on the beach, so we're starting to see more of a reaction from the folks on the boardwalk. The boardwalk looks a little wet right now. So it has started in Atlantic City, but that's not like real heavy rain yet. They're just beginning to get hit. And of course, the worst of the storm is farther to the south in Ventnor and Margate and Longport and down toward Ocean City. And you can see the picture change almost in front of our eyes. And the visibility, we used to be able to see a whole lot more just a few minutes ago, all right? So the storm is coming in from the west, from this direction. The heaviest of the storm is down to the south, but there's enough of it that is pretty heavy, pretty intense. And so the rain that's falling now that isn't necessarily so bad is about to get a lot worse. So there's the light rain at the very start, and the heavy rain is, as Britt shows, 8 miles away. If the storm is moving at 25 miles an hour, it's not going to take very long for that storm to go hit Atlantic City. And also Long Beach Island's about to get hit hard too.
All right, Glenn, we know you will continue to keep an eye on this. Any more warnings pop up, we'll go back to you. And right now, as you mentioned, Glenn, it's really an important time to download that free NBC10 app if you don't already have it. On that app, you can have instant access to the radar right there in your fingertips. You can also get instant notifications that are tailored to your neighborhood or wherever you may be visiting. That way you can stay ahead of these storms. We'll continue to watch our severe weather as it moves through our area. Jack Glenn.